It's almost time to watch another AFC Championship game at Arrowhead Stadium. We are 24 hours away from the Chiefs taking on the Bills in their 7th consecutive AFC Championship game. You guys are listening to the KC Sports Report. I'm your host, Michael Darcy, and today I have the luxury of having my good friend Josh Fan of ShowMeFootball.com and ArrowheadAddict.com, and we are going to preview this AFC Championship game, the battle of two AFC Titans, with a chance to go to New Orleans on the line. So, Josh, I first want you to tell what's going on behind you and what's your outfit like today?
So I broke out the sunglasses. Now they almost kind of look like ski goggles, which is fitting because I live in South Dakota. It's cold, it's snowy, it's windy. You might as well have a pair of sunglasses that double as ski goggles. But they're mainly for the vibes. And then, of course, the disco lights, Michael. For those of you that aren't on my channel, which if you aren't, I mean, come on, man, you've been living under a rock. I basically work part-time for Michael at this point. So, you know, we have the disco lights in the back. They look kind of silly. They're kind of obnoxious, but we are undefeated in the playoffs dating back to 2022. The Kansas City Chiefs have not lost in the playoffs since I've had the disco lights going. So
you cannot break that now. We need 2 more games, Josh, and then you can retire it. You can bring it out in special occasions. But yeah, the Chiefs need
they should put this thing. Honestly,
luck.
Michael, if they complete the three-peat, they should put this disco light on display in
the
Arrowhead.
Hall of Fame.
Yes,
in the hall.
Because
yeah,
we quite literally are. This thing would have seen a three-peat. We have not lost with it on.
Yeah, so keep that good luck up, and the Chiefs are going to need all of that luck going into this game. I mean, the Bills are, I would say, the second best team in the NFL. This is a matchup between the 2 best teams, not only in the AFC, but in the NFL. And we've talked about it ad nauseum all week long. But Josh, I want to get your thoughts on the Bills injury update. There's a couple guys that could be questionable to play in this game. And the first one being cornerback Christian Benford, who suffered a concussion against the Ravens, and he didn't practice on Friday due to a personal matter, and he's listed as questionable for this game. And so that would be a giant loss for the Bills. But also, you see guys like Teron Johnson, their cornerback, he's dealing with a shoulder injury. He has been a full go, but he was limited on Thursday. And then the final guy that's really worth talking about is Matt Milano, their linebacker, who's also been limited in the practice week. He was a full go on Friday, but he's going to probably be a step or 2 slower. And then, of course, Taylor Rapp is already out of this game. So the Chiefs are going to see second-round draft pick rookie Cole Bishop in this game. So what do you think about the Bills injury update? And do you think this is something the Chiefs could capitalize on?
Yeah, so Christian Benford, I want to talk about him first because, you know, he's a big part of the defense, and he's questionable. Now it sounds like they're pretty confident that he plays. That said, though, not being there at practice on Friday, it was for a personal reason, but not being there, I mean, that's walkthroughs. That's like the last, like, going through the game plan, everything like that before the big game. And, you know, that shouldn't really go under the radar, the fact that he missed walkthroughs on Friday. And then, of course, he's, you know, in that concussion protocol, he has to pass it in order to play. Expectation is that he will, but I would imagine that he's not 100%, and he's also at a disadvantage in this game. And then Matt Milano, you know, he came out towards the end of the divisional round. He's probably going to be banged up, like you said, a step or 2 slow. But then the big one is Taylor Rapp, starting safety, out from this game with the back/hip injury. And look, he was a big part of their defense. Bills fans are not happy to lose him. 6 passes defended this year, 2 interceptions, had an interception in the divisional round. And now you thrust in this rookie who, yes, the Buffalo Bills are very high on. They like him, invested a top 100 pick in him. But this is a guy that you can maybe try to pick on early because he's a rookie getting his first big time playing time in a big game, biggest game of the season. And then also there's Damar Hamlin there in that secondary who's going to have to shoulder more of the load now with no Taylor Rapp. And I'm not super impressed with Damar Hamlin. I think the Chiefs have the receivers that can run past him and kind of beat him deep. And then, yeah, I mean, their safety room was already weak to begin with, and now this just makes it even worse for them. And it has to be a matchup that the Kansas City Chiefs exploit, even if it's not for the whole game. You got to get a couple of big plays off that because that's what it's going to take offensively to beat the Buffalo Bills, in my opinion.
When one of the things that I've heard a lot this week is that the Bills are coming into this game healthier defensively. And I'm kind of like, look at your injury report. You've got multiple defensive starters that were limited in practice, were questionable to play. And so I have a hard time feeling like this Bills team really is that healthy defensively. And I don't think their defense is very good to begin with. And so they could be in trouble in this game. The Bills defense is kind of centered around taking the ball away. That turnover differential, I believe, is plus 24, which is one of the best in the NFL. And so they rely heavily on turning the ball over. And the Chiefs haven't turned the ball over since week 11 against this Buffalo Bills team. They've taken care of the football. They've played their best, game up until this point. So I do think that we are going to see a very interesting chess match on that side of the field. Can the Chiefs tight ends in Noah Gray and Travis Kelce take advantage of a defense where their linebackers are kind of beat up and Cole Bishop over the middle of the field? Like, that could be a Travis Kelce or Noah Gray, staple in this game. Find the tight ends over the middle of the field in space, and they can just go to work. But also, Josh, we've talked about this all week. The wide receivers are going to have a much bigger performance in this game. Xavier Worthy was the only wide receiver that caught a pass last week. That has to change. You can't win this game without DeAndre Hopkins, without Hollywood Brown, without Juju Smith-Schuster. I just don't think the Chiefs can do it again.
Yeah, like you trade for D-Hop for a reason, right? This is what you trade for D-Hop for, and he's been on that snap count for most of the season, and once we got to the postseason, it felt like, okay, now it's time for D-Hop, right? Like they hit him for the regular season because of that draft pick or whatever, the stipulations for the trade. And then in the divisional round game, didn't really get any action. It's like, what the heck's going on? Hollywood Brown, he did have that one that was dropped or whatever, could have been challenged, but like, no, I don't even think he got a target outside of that. And it's like, okay, you signed Hollywood Brown for a reason, right? Xavier Worthy, you drafted him, because of that speed, because of the deep ball. And it's just like, we're not seeing it from these guys, but everyone, wants to act like the Chiefs have been saving it for this game. And I hope those people are right, because you're going to need those guys as well to beat the Buffalo Bills. I think you're going to need a 30 points or more effort on offense. And I don't think that's possible without incorporating the likes of D-Hop, Hollywood, and Xavier Worthy. And I mean, if you can't do it against this beat up Bills secondary, then look, you don't deserve to go to the Super Bowl. It's that simple.
We need to see it in this game. The Chiefs need to play their best football game of the season against this Bills team, or they will not win. The Bills are a very good football team. That offense is legit. Josh Allen is an MVP candidate. They can run the football. Their offensive line is great. They've got a great tight end tandem in, Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. That offense is insane. They averaged 30.9 points per game in the regular season. That is something that the Chiefs are going to have to take account for on defense, because the Chiefs offense is going to have to put up, in my opinion, at least 27 points to win. But to your point, they're probably going to have to put up north of 30 if they want a realistic shot to win this football game. Mm-hmm. Josh Allen, he's going to get his. That Bills offense, they're going to do what they want to do. But I think that the Chiefs defense is just going to have to make enough of those stops late in the game, try to stop those 3rd and 6 conversions. And if they can do that, it might only be 1 or 2 stops that end up being the difference in this game. But I will say, talking about some of the differences that could result in either a win or a loss for the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs must take care of the football. We talked about Buffalo's turnover differential and how good they are at forcing turnovers and not making mistakes. Josh Allen has really eliminated a lot of the things that were his biggest criticism in years past, and that was the interceptions. He hasn't done that. Patrick Mahomes hasn't either, but the Chiefs can't turn the ball over. They also need to win the time of possession. If the Chiefs lose the time of possession battle like 40 to 20 minutes, Josh, they're not winning this football game.
Yep, you're going to have to be able to run the ball effectively as well in order to win the time of possession battle. And that's something that the Chiefs have kind of struggled with. I mean, Kareem Hunt has obviously been a huge help to the running back room, but it's not like he's been having super efficient performances, not since, he was first brought in. You've seen him kind of get tired out. Did well against the Houston Texans, but we're going to need to see it again. I think we're going to need to see more of it. And Michael, I'm going to kind of put you on the spot on your own video because you talked about this on my channel, but you kind of have a hot take about the running back rotation. So why don't you let everyone know what that is?
I think in this moment, in this AFC Championship game, the Chiefs need to ride the hot hand. And the hot hand is Kareem Hunt. He has been the best back in this offense all year. Pacheco, he's coming back from essentially a broken leg. He hasn't been the same player. The explosiveness isn't there. I don't think the yards after the initial hit are there either. Kareem Hunt should get the majority of the carries in this game. I would be okay if Pacheco doesn't even touch the football. And that might sound crazy, but I think the Chiefs need to stop giving those pity carries to Pacheco just to say that he got some, because the Chiefs, every play in this game matters. Every offensive snap could, determine the game. So I really think the Chiefs can't mess around here. Kareem Hunt can turn a 1st and 10 into a 2nd and 6, and that puts this offense in a much better position to actually score, to convert on 3rd down, and even in 4th down situations. They need to do what's best for this offense, and that's use Kareem Hunt. And I don't think it's even really a question.
No, and really every facet of playing the running back position, pass blocking, receiving out of the backfield, running the football, protecting the football as well, I'd say Kareem Hunt's better at all of them than Isaiah Pacheco. So it's kind of like
at this point in the season with the injury.
Because originally when he came back from injury, we were saying, well, this is perfect. There'll be a nice 1-2 punch. Like Isaiah Pacheco will be kind of your lightning to Kareem Hunt's thunder, your explosive run back, but we're not getting the explosive run. So it's kind of like, what is he there for?
He's kind of just there because he's a big name. And I think that the Chiefs wanted to get him more acclimated into the offense, but I don't think that it's working. And the Chiefs can, rewrite that wrong right now. They don't have to continue making this mistake. And I think that running the ball effectively in this game, it goes towards winning the time of possession. It goes towards not turning the ball over. And the best option is by using Kareem Hunt. He's going to have some big carries in this game for, potential 1st downs, for touchdowns. He's probably going to be the go-to-go, like the go-to running back in the red zone. He is going to have a lot of pressure in this game. And I just hope that the blocking up front with Caliendo at left guard and Tooney at left tackle can just hold their guys enough so he's going to have a big enough hole to just find the end zone.
Yeah, that's what I was going to talk about next. I mean, Mike Caliendo at left guard again, Joe Tooney at left tackle. I mean, it's probably been the Chiefs' best combination thus far, but Mike Caliendo has become somewhat of a weak link. I mean, he's filled in fine considering it's Mike Caliendo, but been kind of a weak link. He can't really run the ball as well to the left side anymore. He's given up some pressures this postseason. That what he looks like in this game is also going to be a large part in determining who wins.
Yeah. And listen, I know there was a rumor at one point that DJ Humphries could potentially start in this game. Andy Reid didn't definitively say that, Tooney's going to be the starting left tackle. Yeah. The Chiefs are not going to change what's worked. Either way, the Bills aren't going to see the same guy that they did back in week 11. Wanya Morris might not be activated for this game. So the Chiefs are going to give a different look. But if we just go down the list of players that didn't play in that first, week 11 matchup between the Bills and the Chiefs, it's pretty substantial. Now, the Bills also were missing, Keon Coleman and Spencer Brown and Matt Milano and a couple other guys. But the Chiefs didn't have Isaiah Pacheco. The Chiefs didn't have Harrison Butker, Charles Omenihu, Jalen Watson. And they also didn't have, who was the other guy that it's escaping my mind right now. I guess the left tackle position being different in this game. So, that's a pretty substantial shift. And I think that Jalen Watson could be a difference maker in this game because we've been talking about how Josh Allen is going to try to, throw the football all over the field. He's not going to be targeting Najee Johnson anymore. The capable, cornerback 2 is here now.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen that Chiefs cornerback depth has not been great. Getting back Jalen Watson for this matchup is huge. We talked about it on my channel. I've said it multiple times this week, but go back and look at that first matchup against the Bills. All their big plays, who was on, the bad end of it. It was Najee Johnson. I mean, they were just throwing at whoever was lined up.
Joshua Williams had a rough game too.
Yeah, and I mean, also a big thing with Najee Johnson that I don't like. Say what you want about him in coverage, and I probably won't disagree with you, but he also can't get off a block in the run game either. And that's going to be an area in which you need these guys to step up and stop James Cook, who has been a Swiss Army knife for the Bills offense all year.
Yeah, we've talked so much about how good Josh Allen is, but James Cook had like 17 rushing touchdowns in the regular season. So he is a guy that could absolutely beat you. He kind of beat Baltimore. So that's going to be a key for the Chiefs to kind of eliminate the run and make Josh Allen throw downfield. And you just got to
make them one-dimensional. Make them one-dimensional. I mean, yes, Josh Allen, he's going to have some good throws. He's going to get his. We talked about that already, and that's fine. But if you make them one-dimensional, then it really increases your chances of winning this game.
When here's the thing, the more times that Josh Allen throws, I know he's been very efficient this year. I know he really hasn't turned the football over. Lamar Jackson didn't before last week either. And the more times that Josh Allen throws the football, the more opportunities that we could potentially see him revert back to what he has always been. So the more times that he is throwing downfield for a Khalil Shakir or a Keon Coleman or an Amari Cooper or one of his tight ends, there is that chance, there is that slim margin that he does throw a pick. And that could be the difference in this game.
Yep. The more times you put the ball in the air, there's risk of something happening. Could bounce off a receiver's hands, could get picked off, or, you have Josh Allen dropping back. George Karlaftis maybe is able to get his arm in there. Charles Omenihu, it always seems like he's knocking the ball out anytime he gets to the quarterback in the playoffs.
Oh, and just think about how much that he is going to be coming out in this game with a new fire to go out and help this team win another Super Bowl, because I look at this roster and I see guys like DeAndre Hopkins and specifically Kareem Hunt as players that will quite literally leave it all out on the field to win this football game. Like they are so hungry for a Super Bowl that they would do anything. And that's the kind of guy that I want to have on my team. And so that is going to be a huge factor in this game. Which team wants it more? Now, obviously, Josh Allen is 0-3 against the Chiefs, and you could argue that he's probably going to want it more, but I don't know. There's a lot of hungry guys on this team, and the Chiefs have done a good job of, putting in new life, getting new juice into this locker room of guys that haven't been to this moment before. Because, with guys like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Chris Jones, they've got 3 of them. And so, yes, they're motivated to go get this history done, but they might not have the same motivation of a Kareem Hunt or a DeAndre Hopkins or Charles Omenihu, who didn't get to play in the Super Bowl last year because of the injury. So I do think that is an underrated factor in this game, because the Chiefs are hungry. They've got the playoff experience. And Josh, how many times all year did we hear that winning close games was a bad thing? This more than likely is going to be a close game. And who do you trust in that moment to get the job done?
It's Kansas City Chiefs. They have the most experience in them. They have the most success. They have a track record of winning close games. So, I think you have to roll with them.
I think that we got to put our faith in Patrick Mahomes. We both predicted the Chiefs would win the Super Bowl back a couple weeks ago before the playoffs came out. I think that we still got to have that, thought in the back of our minds. But with that being said, let's go ahead and make our official predictions for this AFC Championship game. Josh, why don't you kick it off?
I'm going to say the Chiefs win 31-27. It's going to be a close one, but if you eclipse that 30-point threshold, I think that gives you a great shot. Then, the defense has got to show up, and I think if they do, you can kind of hold the Bills to 30, under 30. But like I said, break 30 points. I think you win this game, and being at home will give the Chiefs the edge in this one. It'll motivate the defense to get that last stop at the end in order to ice the game.
We have very similar final scores. I have the Chiefs winning 31-28 on a walk-off Harrison Butker field goal, and the Chiefs will go to New Orleans for an opportunity to make history in three-peat. So both Josh and I have the Chiefs winning this game against the Buffalo Bills. Kickoff is going to be 5:30 tomorrow at Arrowhead Stadium. It's going to be the best game of the season, and I'm just so excited to see the Chiefs finally go out there and try to go make history. So, Josh, that's all the time we have in this video. Without, further ado, plug everything. Where can people find your stuff?
Yeah, you can find me here on YouTube. Show Me Football is the channel name. Check out my work on showmefootball.com, arrowheadaddict.com, and then last but not least, follow me on Twitter at ShowMeFB.
And guys, all of that stuff will be linked in the description of this video. Hit that like button, subscribe to this channel for more daily Chiefs coverage. And until next time, thank you for watching. And as always, go Chiefs.